Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello viewers, welcome once again to my channel. For those of you that are existing subscribers, you are most welcome. Those of you that are new, you are also most welcome. Okay, so our starting point once again is the bottom of Hayley Hill, and today we're going to go towards town and then on towards Gibbet Street, and I want to show you the sort of my memories of Gibbet Street, because that is the area that I grew up in. So we're going to go down Hayley Hill and then once again into town, rather than go on the carriageway, because there are some other landmarks at the bottom of Lister Lane, and of course Lister Lane joins on to Gibbet Street. So what we have done so far has been Pebbled Lane on to start off with, because that starts in town, then Hanson Lane, which is a little bit further, and in previous videos we have been on King Cross, which again starts from town, and I have also shown you Parkinson Lane, which we will be revisiting, because again there are landmarks there that I want to show you. Okay, so we are coming out of Hayley Hill once again and then going to go into town. So ahead of us the flats that we've seen on previous occasions, and of course up there the rest of Booth Town. Oh, wow. So I've chosen a Saturday, and of course it's going to be more busier on a Saturday. So once again, what you see here is the exit from the carriageway, and of course these are the joining points. So we're going to stay in the middle and go into town. So ahead of us, of course, North Bridge and the carriageway above it. Once again, enjoy the view of the town. So we have been here before, North Gate on that side, Broad Street Plaza, and below us of course is the leisure centre. It's rather a dull day today. So we've just passed Winding Road. Ahead of us on this direction is Market Street. So as I say, I don't know whether I've said this before, but the area ahead of us is known as Crossfields, and it contains this Odeon building and behind it the government building. This was the first sort of big area to be demolished. There were many houses on here. So if you remember previously, if we were to go right, that would be Pebbled Lane, but we're going straight ahead. So where you see this Thai restaurant is actually the bottom of Gibbet Street, and that's where I'm going to stop and show you in more detail. So the way to reach it is to turn the other way from this roundabout. So we're going to virtually do a U-turn, and that takes us to the bottom of Lister Lane. So this of course is Bull Green, and if you remember that way it's Huddersfield Road, and on the other side King Cross. So we're in town, and this is where Lister Lane starts, people. So viewers, what we've done is we've come from town, come up here, and there is this road, and where those flats are, that used to go right into town, and that of course is the bottom of Gibbet Street. Previously I have been up there, which is of course the carriageway cutting Lister Lane off, and then the rest of Lister Lane. So this road that I am now on is Lister Lane, and obviously it has changed an awful lot over time. There used to be residential properties here, but I do remember a lot of warehouses as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go that way, and that of course is the bottom of Gibbet Street. So it's going to be a long walk for me today, showing you all the places that are familiar to me on Gibbet Street. So this is the end of the road. I don't know what its name is. I don't think it existed in my childhood. So over there is Lister Lane, and this of course is the bottom of Gibbet Street as it is now. But say in my childhood these flats were just about to be completed, and there was a road down here that took us into town, and this is the back of the Thai style restaurant that we have been seeing from the other side. So once again, show you the bottom of Gibbet Street. A lot of modern buildings, and up there is the warehouse that we've been seeing, and the traffic that you see up there of course is going over the bridge that now exists on Gibbet Street. So I've stopped on here once again, viewers, just to show you this old Victorian warehouse. So it actually says Bonding Warehouse on it. Don't know whether you can make that out, but as I say, my memory is there was 3 or 4 of these, both on this side and on the other side here as well. So we are heading towards the bridge, and on the right there the grassed area, sorry, the hedges that you see, that of course is the Gibbet. So we have been here before. You see the Halifax Elim Church there. So just to show you once again the journey that we've made The bridge over there is Pebbled Lane, and of course that is Dunelm. That's the car park that we parked in. So these are all businesses on this side. I've come back to the Gibbet, and once again what you see there is a social club, and behind it is a church that is happily ringing out bells today. So it's usually for a wedding, so I'm sure when we get closer we'll be able to see. So I'll cross the road and show you the other side again, although we have seen it before. So I'm showing you the carriageway once more. So where you see that Volvo dealership, that is Lister Lane that's been cut off, and on this side there are some pebbled houses which were built during the 80s. So up there is the rest of Gibbet Street, and that is what I'm going to show you. So it's going to be a long journey for me, and I will stop every so often, otherwise the video will become way too long. Just stopping to show you the Gibbet once more, and this is this side of Bedford Street North. And if you remember, previously we were parked on the other side, so I'm going to carry on walking here. And the area that you see over there is firstly the Volvo garage, and behind it is the Elsie Whiteley Centre, which of course is on Hopwood Lane. On this side is the social club. Then, if you remember, I just previously described these houses to you, and they belong to the Catholic Church, which is St Mary's. So I am opposite the church now, viewers. So this is St Mary's Church, and as I said, there is a wedding going on today. This street is called Clarence Street, so we've been here before. So as you can see, the church is in full swing, and there's a wedding going on today. So we're going to carry on our journey further up, because that is the area that is of significance to me. So there's a stop in the ringing, so I thought I'd take a shot as well. We've got a lovely limousine up there waiting for them. So lovely period buildings along Gibbet Street. So I'm a little further up at Gibbet Street now, viewers. So as you can see, the church is down there. This street is actually called Hope Street, and if you remember previously, we were on the other side, and that of course is the start of Hanson Lane. So where you see a car that's just gone up, that is the start of Hopwood Lane, another one just going up. So that is Hope Street. It connects to Gibbet Street, and then we have this street, which for me is a lot of significance, because that was where my dad lived when he came to the UK. So as you can see, the limousine is trying to find a better place to park, or is about to move off for the wedding party. Okay, so this is Gerard Street, where my dad found lodgings. It was a rented room when he first came to the UK in the early 60s. Okay, so just catch the limo. I think he's trying to reverse for the guests at the wedding. So I'm stopping at another point further up on Gibbet Street. That street there, down there where the car is coming from now, is called Hope Street. There was a street on here that went right through. So in my childhood, these warehouses didn't used to be here. So the rest of this area is where I grew up, And then this street here has a lot of significance for me. It is Road Street, and what it houses is one of 5 or 6 masjids that are in Halifax. So I'm going to go up a little bit closer to it and show you how it looks today. So this masjid has a lot of significance for me, viewers. When I was a child, up to the age of about 14, this is the masjid that I came to learn Quran and other studies. It has changed an awful lot over the time, but originally it was a house that looked exactly like that house. And then this area that you see next to it has had various uses. So when the masjid purchased it, it was a builder's yard, but then prior to that it was what's known as a rag and bone yard, where people collected old clothes and bones on the back of carts, and there was a big yard here. So, you know, really fond memories of this. It used to be a house, but now it's a masjid. So to start off with, you know, we had congregations of 30 and 40, but now, you know, it is very large area. Perhaps you know, from this angle you can't see it. I will go on the other side and show it to you from there, but now it can accommodate more than 1,000 people, and there are actually 2 halls within this section. So looking this way, each of these houses, both on this side and on this side, we used to know dear friends. So it's a very different street to the way it was in my childhood. A lot of this was not actually residential. It was what's known as private clubs, whether they were snooker and card poker clubs, etc. So most of these houses are as they were in my time, but over here some have been knocked down, so for whatever reason. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the other side and show you the street from that side. So I'm just a little bit further up, in fact the next street. So you can see the church down here. So I've just been in over there, which is Road Street, and then this is the back of that, and it is known as Back Road Street. So I think I'll stop because I'm going to have to contend with a lot of noise from the wedding party. Alright, the noisy wedding party has gone further up. So as you can see, this is our splendid Road Street Ghosia Masjid, which, you know, for me has very fond memories. I am going to go further in because as I say, it has fond memories, and if you notice, this is still a cobbled street, and that is very much how the streets used to look in my time. The other reason that I've stopped here is to show you this rather innocent looking shop, and if you were to research the history of this innocent looking shop, if you typed in unsolved murders, then you would discover that in this shop in the 50s, I think it was 1957, an 80-year-old lady was brutally murdered, and the murder was never solved. So there's a lot of unexplained circumstances, and the big one being that the robbers actually emptied the till, but actually didn't rummage around for other monies, and had they done that, they would have found that there was an awful lot of money further upstairs. It's a pity there isn't a date plate on it when these houses were built, but I'm sure it will be in the 1880s or 1890s. Okay viewers, so as you can see further up is other areas, and the minar that you see there is the minar or dome of our main masjid, which is the Madani Masjid, and that's what I'll be showing you a little bit later. So I've come further into the street, viewers, to show you more of the masjid and to show you how big it actually is. So as you can see, it stretches for a good 100 meters or so. So as I say, it used to be a house, and at the back you can see the original house, and of course this would have been the yard, just like the yards on this side. But these are once again splendid, solid Victorian buildings, which are absolutely beautiful inside, and many are beautiful on the outside as well. So I am now stood at the end of Albert Road, viewers. So what I'm trying to point out to you is where you see that sort of a reddish area, you should be able to recognise that that is where TK Maxx is, and that of course is Hanson Lane. So as you can see, we can cut through all of these streets to other areas. So that is Hanson Lane, this is Gibbet Street, and on the other side where you can see those trees, that is actually People's Park. Although to start off with, it's actually, sorry, it's the almshouses and then People's Park. So although this street, Hampton Place, extends right through, and there are houses on both sides. So the point that I have stopped now, viewers, is just opposite Hampton Place, and if you remember the name from the other side, a lot of these houses have Madani in front of them, so Madani Street and Madani Close, and as you can see they are very modern houses, and they have replaced the houses that we used to live in, which were Victorian houses built in the 1830s. So Villiers Street used to be here, and there was a number of back-to-back houses, and then this area was cleared in the 1970s, and then eventually we get these houses and we get the splendid Madani Masjid, which I'm going to show you once I'm a bit further up. So I've just stopped a little bit further on. This is Milton Terrace. So if you remember, we saw it from the other side. So this is the gardens side of these terraces, and behind them is their parking area. So remember, we had Milton Terrace, we had Cromwell Terrace, Cavendish, Gladstone Road, etc. All along here, and they can be accessed from Gibbet Street. I'm just on the other side of the road, right next to the masjid now, viewers, and I just wanted to draw your attention to those two properties over there. So obviously, with Road Street being a house, there wasn't enough space for worshippers, so another group decided to purchase these two houses, and they used to be a masjid as well. And it was the committee from this masjid that actually were the sort of forefathers or the builders of this masjid. So again, opposite we see the terraces, as I call them. So that one I think is called Cromwell Terrace, and more splendid Victorian properties. So the properties on this side, which is, as I call, my side, used to look like that, but there were actually more shops on the front. So I am directly in front of the Masjid now, viewers, and from here hopefully you can see the scale of our beautiful Madni Masjid. So if you look further this way, we have a car park, and there's twice as much or 3 times as much space behind there as well. So once again, the houses that you see at the back are on Lister Lane. You can just catch a glimpse of Bellevue there, and then on the other side of this, of course, is Lister Lane Cemetery, which I'll show you when I get across. So I'm just a little bit further up to show you how the masjid relates to the other area. So this, of course, is the Lister Lane Cemetery that we visited, and Gibbet Street goes for 2-3 miles further up there, and the road that I'm on here is called Gladstone Road. Okay viewers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk for about, I would say at least 600-700 meters, and then stop there to show you the sights that are up there. Okay viewers, I've come further up Gibbet Street. This is actually where it joins this street here, which is called Francis Street, and I am going to go on to Francis Street because I want to get up a little bit closer to another masjid that is in our town. So what we see down there is the other terraces, as I call them, and I think the last one there is called Grosvenor Terrace, and then you have this housing estate, and on the other side of this, of course, is Hanson Lane, and then there's a few buildings on there that I'll describe on that road that's called Light Owler Road. So looking further on, I'm sure you'll be able to recognize the landmarks there. That actually is Queen's Road Mills. So I'm not going to go beyond that today, so that's why I've called this part 1, because Gibbet Street is so lengthy and there are so many buildings on here that I am familiar with. So I'm going to do a little bit more detail on Francis Street, and then a little bit up there, and that will be the end of today's video. So this is a view of Francis Street from this side. So if you remember, the first junction is going to be Lister Lane, and then Hopwood Lane, and then finally Parkinson Lane, where you'll find the college on the corner. So I've just stopped here, viewers. So I've come from Gibbet Street. All of this is Lister Lane. So if you remember, Bellevue is down there, the cemetery is down there, the Church of the Crossleys, the United Reformed Church, is just there, and it is now an Islamic school. As you can see, the Sunnia Centre, and the rest of Gibbet Street, Lister Lane. This orangey building down that you see there is very significant for me. That used to be an engineering works called Pratt Bernard, and that actually extends on to the next road, which of course is Hopwood Lane, and it is so significant because that is where my brother used to work. So I'm just in a building now, viewers, opposite the Sunnia Centre, and this is what I've come to show you. This is another masjid in our area called Jamia Al-Zahra, and this was set up by an eminent scholar called Shahsab Tirmizi, and sorry, I'm all out of breath, can't even say names properly. So Shahzad passed away last year and has obviously given a lot to the community, including this splendid building. So we all pray for his soul. May Allah grant him the highest status. Ameen, sum ameen. It was a true loss to the community, but he has left us with this wonderful legacy of this masjid, which is on Francis Street. And one of the purposes of today's videos was to show you the masjids, so some of the masjids in Halifax. So I'm back on Gibbet Street, viewers. So what I've shown you there is Francis Street, and then just off there we have this road, which is called Light Owl Road. So this is significant for us because the building that you see there used to be our health centre, and so during my childhood and my children's childhood, those were the doctors that we used to visit. And what you see up there back on Gibbet Street is the front of Pratt Bernard's. It no longer exists, unfortunately. It used to be a machine tools company. So I am going to end our journey today, viewers, because I'm just conscious that I've made the video over 30 minutes again. So I do hope you've enjoyed our journey, and we will pick it up from this point next time. So this is part one of our journey up Gibbet Street, which, as I say, contains a lot of buildings which are familiar to me. So I do hope you've enjoyed today's journey. I will bid you farewell. Do look after each other, and until the next time, goodbye. अपना ख्याल रखना, दूसरों का ख्याल रखना, दुआओं में याद रखना. अल्लाह हाफिज, खुदा हाफिज.